Just to jump ahead, I do ultimately get this car running, but there were certainly some challenges to get there. So I bought two different sets of wiring to complete this swap. One of them, pictured here, attaches to the transmission. This ultimately is going to connect up to activate the reverse lights. The other one plugs into the clutch module, and these all came nicely pre-terminated and were ready to plug in. So I looked up the factory wiring. The clutch module diagrams up here in the top right, and you can basically see that one is going to power to ground. One of the cables then goes to the DME, and the other one goes to the vehicle mobilizer. So we're getting back into my least favorite place on earth, and that small gray box up there is actually the EWS, and that black cord is the one you're going to want to remove. So here we have the clutch module attached, the master cylinder, then all the wires, and this is the connector to the EWS, and you're going to want to have it in that pin farthest to the left. Alright, so you have the DME removed. This is basically how it aligns. These slide into lock in place. You pull them out, and this is the gray connector we're looking for. There's a small tab right on top that you press to slide out. So once you get to this point, you can get it all the way out. There are two small tabs on the bottom here, and then over here you have to depress, and that piece will slide all the way out until you get the connector fully out. And as for actually getting the cables in here, I don't know if you can quite see it, but there's a zip tie on the bottom that goes right through there. So this equal colored yellow guy goes right to the DME box. And so threading it through there is able to get all the way up. And I can reach this way and grab it. I'm just going to connect that line and pull the way through. Alright, so there's electrical tape the wire onto this, and it's going to pull it through. So there you go. Now I have it. That's installed number 18, C14. 25 top. I did a full descent into the pit of despair. After doing all the wiring, I went to plug in my OBD2 reader and got nothing. Wouldn't turn on, getting no signal, so I immediately assumed I bricked the ECU. So I went back, unplugged everything I'd done, removed it from the ECU, plugged everything back to how it was, even plugged the automatic transmission back in. Weirdly enough, the car would start and was running fine, wasn't getting any warning lights. Asked ChatGPT, so I checked all the fuses. Initially I thought they were good, but turns out ChatGPT told me the wrong fuse. So when I ultimately found the fuse, which was F24, that did power the OB2 reader, it wasn't getting any power. So I pulled it out, took it over to test it with an ohm meter to see the resistance. So it should read 0 if there's continuity there. So you can see here too, by just touching the tips together, it drops down to 0. So looking at it, can see in fact, yeah, the fuse is blown. So then I was trying to figure out, well, what would I have done to possibly blow this fuse? So I went to TIS on BMW to look what else this supplies. The instrument cluster, the X19527 is the OBD2 reader, and there it is, the gear indicating lighting. That's what I use to hook up the clutch module to. So I did this all to myself. I don't think the actual module itself is drawing too much power to short out the fuse. I think I probably accidentally touched the wires together because I forgot it was constantly on even though I had the car off, and probably shorted out myself. So for this next part of actually coding with the car, I would recommend proceeding with extreme caution. So there's a whole bunch of stuff online of coding E90s, coding E46s, and I found some of this helpful, but ultimately the E85 is something even more unique. And there are risks here of, irreparably damaging and bricking modules where you'd have to get them replaced. This video has nothing to do with what I'm doing currently. This is driving through Iceland. I only bring it up as they had pictures on the beach of people actually drowning, so consider this the warning of following me forward. So to complete the coding aspect of this, you'll need the BMW standard tool package. Specifically, you'll need INPA, NCS Expert, NCS Dummy. So first thing, you want to load INPA and basically make sure you're connected. If everything is working well there, you want to close out and then open up NCX Expert. You're going to want to go ahead and load a profile and start with factory coding here. Next, you'll hit F1 followed by F3 to basically pull up your VIN and vehicle order. You want to go and scroll down to E85. This is my first big point of confusion. A lot of the E90 and E46 guides talk about selecting the CAST module, but these are the only two modules that the vehicle order is stored in for the E85. It's basically the instrument cluster and the lighting module. So once you have that selected, it's going to start pulling up your VIN, and then the FA is going to be your vehicle order. All those numbers basically tell you what options your car is installed with. Go ahead and select E85 again. So on this screen, you're going to want to select $205, which basically tells the car to be an automatic, and hit delete. So next, you're going to want to tell the modules that actually store the vehicle order that you want to change it. So you're going to select back and process ECU, and you'll see a whole list of the various modules that you can code. I created a little template guideline just so I knew which one I was looking for. So I of course can't find the video of probably the most important part of actually encoding the ECUs, but the biggest part is making sure that you switch it over to FA right, and that's going to change the vehicle order stored in those modules. And so after all of this, the car doesn't start. So I try and turn on the ignition, nothing, no clicks, so I figure it's probably still going to be the vehicle immobilizer. When I plugged the automatic transmission back into the harness, the car would start up just fine, so I figured that must be the issue. One of the previous swap threads I was following, they basically just did the EWS delete of disengaging the activation with the park neutral switch, and that worked for them, so I decided to try it. So this is the part where you're going to need NCS Dummy. You basically start by loading up the NCS Dummy profile and NCS Expert, following a lot of the same things before, basically to get the vehicle order loaded up. And ultimately what you're going to be doing here is creating a trace file for the module that you want to modify, and then you're going to be loading that into NCS Dummy. The big thing here, after you have your ECU selected, you're going to make sure the job name is on read and not write. So once you have that trace file created, you can then just minimize NCS Expert, pull up NCS Dummy, and then you're going to make sure you have the right vehicle pulled up, and then you want to pull up the trace file, not the man file like I did here, to be able to edit it. And this can be the whole list of all the various modules, and since I pulled up the wrong one, none of these are selectable. But when I go back in and pull up the correct one, you'll be able to see the options become editable. And so I've already done this, but normally the park neutral switch will be listed as active instead of inactive. And once you switch it over to deactivated, go ahead and replace your PSW trace file with that, and then go back up and you can switch over the job name to process ECU. Yeah, SG code Darren, and then hit process, and that will take care of it. At this point, it did strike me that I realized I didn't have to do any of the clutch module wiring with this delete in the EWS. It doesn't care if the clutch is depressed. It doesn't care if that clutch module is there. So I wasted about 5 minutes of your time and hours of mine. So this did get the car running for me without the automatic transmission connected. I do end up with a few warning lights, a check engine light, and then a transmission fault. After I cleared the error codes in INPA, they went away. I do for some reason have a check airbag light on. No idea, didn't do anything with the airbag module, but I'll figure that out next time.